Hello, beautifuls. It's Charla here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So I want to do kind of an activation. What do we require to move forward? Energy update for this coming few weeks. It's not going to really be, it's really a timeless reading. So whenever you find it, that's when you're going to receive these activations and these downloads that are wanting to come through. I've been really feeling strongly lately this energy of people really ready to shift some things in their world, though there's this avoidance. And so this is the thing that I'm seeing in my clients the most right now, is this ready to step forward, but also that fear of where to go. And I've been finding that a lot of it is tied to the old timelines that we've been running, these old projections. And so part of what I do is I help jump people up to those higher timelines to really see where they need to go from here. So this is one of those really important things that is showing up for a lot of people, especially if we hold those like witch wounds and that fear of speaking our truth because of that tyrannic energy that shut off our magic oh so long ago. And so that is part of this new beginning. And one of the cards that came out was the Lady of the New Buds, and it says nurture tenderness. And so we can see here this energy of lots of flowers, and she's actually holding one big seed that's turning into these flowers. So we also have the butterflies around her as well. And this is about nurturing self, right? Nurturing that tenderness inside of you. Now, I'm going to read part of the book. This Dragonfade deck does a lot of descriptions, so I won't read the whole thing. But the divinatory meanings say an affinity with flowers and gardens. Projects need tending. Care every day for small matters, and the large will care for themselves. Now it's interesting because I had to do some throat activations and clearings in a reading I did a couple days ago. So we have this tickle that keeps going in the throat, and I've found that a lot of that stems from that witch wound that's showing up. So before I even read deeper into this, let's just feel into our throat. So everybody who's watching this can actually tap into this energy. That's kind of part of what I'm doing here today. So we're gonna feel that tickle that's in the back of the throat, and it's almost so deep that you can't even clear it in your throat because it's like almost somewhere so far down. So we're just going to allow this piece of tech to show itself to us. Okay, so it's not fully coming out for everybody yet, so everywhere that we're holding this idea that we need to keep our mouth quiet, we're just going to destroy and uncreate that all. And anywhere where we're holding Akashic records tied to this, we're going to allow those Akashic records to show up in our field. We're going to bring them forth, and we're going to clear everything but the lessons we've learned from them. Integrating those lessons into the heart space. Okay, so you might need to clear your throat a little bit, and this could take a little bit of time for it to fully pull itself out, especially if we still hold those beliefs that we need to shut our mouth down, shutting down our voice and our energy and our power. So hopefully that helps for a bit. Okay, So it says, we were talking about care every day for small matters, and the large will care for themselves. Resisting change is resisting the life force itself. Look at everything in nature. The seed does not remain a seed. The seedling grows. The tree seems unrelated to its origins, but at the moment, by holding on tight to the person, by holding too tight to the person you believe you must be, you are running the risk of denying your own life force. Change is positive. Stasis, as a resting point, can work well. As a life choice, it can be a kind of slow death. The emergence will come at the right time. Because the bud will be forced to a flower at some stage, do not allow yourself to wither in the bud. Divine guidance needs practical application and work. Action teamed with inspiration will create a beautiful, bountiful paradise. Work hard at what it is you love. And this is definitely a theme that's been showing up. And so it's really talking about allowing yourself to plant those seeds, but then you have to do something with those seeds. And so this is where we've really been pushed to action and taking care of self. So we also had the self card show up here. I like it better when I'm in the light. Once I go in the darkness, you can't see it as much. But we have these 3 doves here. We also have a couple dragons kind of wrapped around her, you see here. So they're wrapped around her waist. So it's like the dragons have really been working with you lately, and I've been seeing them in the clouds, and they're kind of showing up everywhere, where it's like they're kind of letting us know that their presence is near, just because they're helping hold this container while we're going through these transformations of really like tapping into self, right? So this card is really tapping into this needing to find that truth in yourself. Like this book is talking about what we just read, is like holding on so tightly to this idea of who you're supposed to be because of what everybody else decided as you grew up. You're now having to allow that to die so that you don't stay stuck in this stagnancy where you're staying stuck in positions that aren't really meant for you, that are keeping you stuck in those lower timelines. We can only jump timelines if we're willing to see that, because I can jump a person up to a higher dimensional timeline, but if you're not willing to step into that role properly, you're just gonna go back down to those old comfort zones. And so this is where we have to be mindful of where we are in avoidance of doing that work and an avoidance of actually stepping into that next part of our journey, because that mission is important and it's showing up really hard. And I know you're all feeling it, because I felt it a few weeks ago, which means that you guys are feeling it now. And so that pressure cooker that we are under right now is really asking you to see the potential in you and see the potential in your magic. And this is why we need to heal these witch wounds and all of these old storylines. There we go. There, we finally moved that last piece in that. Now I can like talk without feeling like I'm gonna choke on myself. And so this is where it's important, right? So this is what we're talking about, is if we're not willing to let it go, this is where some of us were still holding that piece, and I was still just like trying to work through it. And so once we allow ourselves to let go and start really stepping into that magic, believing that we're magic, all of a sudden that magic starts showing up a lot more. Now the angelic frequency is here. It says angels are here. You are safe. Potent connection. And so that angelic energy stepping forward, a lot because of some of the shifts that are taking place, especially with the 144,000 angels that are here working to shift that light. It's not just the 144,000 that we're talking about. They're just getting their activations right now, as well as the twin flames and many other beings. The gatekeepers have really been getting activated lately. So if you find that there's a lot of deceased loved ones around you, or you're getting really drawn to a specific area, or you want to move, but you can't seem to move away from this area. But let's ask ourselves why. What is it that's trying to show up for us right now? So the guardians of the land is also here, and it says protection. So here we have a deer. We have quite a bit of animals showing up for us today, but this one's really talking about protecting that land and working with the land. Earlier today I was on a walk, and as I was passing this house, it almost looked like an abandoned house. I think there's still somebody living in it. But as I walked by, this house just asked for me to pull some cords out that was tying that house into this land and all this stuff. And so I just did a little bit of healing on it and allowed whatever needed to come to the surface to move through me. And so then I just kept working with the energy. I had lots of birds talking to me. I had a cat run across the road and come say hi, but they all were giving me codes. And so the more that I'm open to these things coming to me, the more I'm able to do for my mission. And it's not like I have to specifically go out and chase it. Okay, guys, we don't have to do that. It shows up for us everywhere we go. So when we're being drawn to go to a specific store or go for a walk and go to a certain street or a certain path instead of your usual, there's a reason, because there's something there that either the land is holding for you or you're holding to help the land. And so those codes are really activating right now, as well as those angelic codes, but as well as those twin flame codes. There's so much going on because it's time to step into that mission. And so that's what a lot of this activation was about. Is it doesn't really feel like we're doing much for the activation while I talk, because it's all happening energetically. So as we set this intention that we're going to allow our bodies to activate everything that needs to come to the surface to help us step in that next level, we're allowing this space for possibility. And then it allows me to kind of just work the energy that's required while we're in this conversation. So let's see what energies want to come forward for this activation. What else is, coming forward for you? That thought card is here. So this one here is really about kind of stepping back into that magical being and really putting thought and intention into that work we're doing right now. Which direction we want to go. The Sirius star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. I love this, mostly because I'm talking about this being seen, being heard, right? Allowing those activations to come in. If you really take a good look at, let me pull this forward so I can show you this better. If you take a really good look at this card here, there's all kinds of activations just in that picture, right? And so that picture alone is bringing in a lot of codes and downloads for you. So the Sirius energy is coming forward. So you could have a lot of like water animals coming forward, ocean beings and stuff like this. But there's definitely just like that energy of codes coming through saying, be seen, allow yourself to be seen. The Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, conscious manifesting. And so this Emerald Tablet's been showing up a lot lately as well, actually. I have a friend who's reading the Emerald Tablet, and so I keep getting different activations from it, which is interesting. Just different codings, and it feels like this Kundalini wants to kind of work with you now as well. So we're going to allow just whatever needs to be activated in this moment to come forward to help just move that body properly. The Pleiadian activations at the bottom of the deck. So this one also came up when we were doing that throughout the other day. It says coming together, harmony in the heavens, and resolution. And so there again, if we just look at that card for a minute and really take in the downloads of the image, because that image alone is its own data set. You can't see it as well if I don't have it in that light. So that's really beautiful. So we have lots of beings, so we can call forth our telluric and our elemental beings tonight and over the next few days. We can just call them in really heavy to bring in those activations that are required. Tapping into that Emerald Tablet if we want to go a little bit deeper, if we're really looking for some more deep intellectual knowledge, kind of going deeper than just this human world, you could tap into that emerald tablet. But calling forth that angelic frequency, that Sirius energy, and as well as the Pleiadians to kind of help bring you in these downloads and all that information you require, and start paying attention to what the land is calling. Maybe you're not necessarily here for the land, but if you're noticing a lot more deceased loved ones and ghosties around you, you're probably being asked to activate that star, that gatekeeper codex. So if you need help with that or kind of a better understanding of what that's about, don't be afraid to book a session with me so that we can really tap into what codes need to be activated, what needs to be cleared to help you with that activation, and really go much deeper into what is required in your life. As this is just a general reading for everybody, we sometimes do need that one-on-one time to really sit with our stuff and feel it and clear those things that we might not necessarily be able to do when we're doing a general reading. So I'm always available for sessions. I will always leave the link for you in the description box. So for that more personalized reading, just book a session with me. For the month of April, I have a special on for 10% off for my online sessions. So if you want to check out a quantum healing session online to get that discount, that's a perfect opportunity to get started, and you get to be at home in your comfort zone while I just move all your energy. So it's a super fun way to get your codes that you require without having to go down to the office and meet me there. So I look forward to chatting with you, and I will chat with you again soon. Take care.